Every trip to Disney feels a little different, but this one felt special. Maybe it's because the kids are older now, or maybe it's because time seems to move faster the more you try to hold on to it. So I brought my camera, a simple setup, and a simple goal to slow things down and capture the magic in my own way. This week I took a creative challenge inside the Disney bubble. 1 camera, 2 manual lenses, and a mission to capture the magic in a new way. No autofocus, no fancy gear, just instinct, light, and a 10 feet of focus between me and the story unfolding in front of my lens. I'm 59 years old, married for 27 years, and the proud dad of 2 grown kids. Disney has been woven into our family story since they were little. Back in 2009, we bought into Disney Vacation Club, and every few years since, we've made our way back here to reconnect, recharge, and relive a bit of the magic together. At this stage of my life, Disney means something different. It's not just about the rides or fireworks anymore. It's about holding my family a little closer and freezing time, 1 click at a time. It's an opportunity to be present with the people I love while doing something that fills me creatively. This video is a visual diary, a postcard from our week inside the Disney bubble. My goal was to keep things simple and focus on the craft. I worked with my old Sony a6500 and limited myself to 2 manual lenses. A vintage Nikon 24mm f2.8 from the 1970s and a KamLan 21mm f1.8. The challenge: capture the magic with light and shadow, reflections in neon, crowded streets, and quiet moments. I set the lens to f8 with a focus at 10 feet. Anything beyond that should be sharp. It's a minimalist, fast, and freeing setup. Just turn the camera on and shoot. Before heading out, I made sure my camera was dialed in. Steady shot set to 24mm, memory recall ready with 24 frames per second at 1/50th of shutter speed. For years, I overlooked a small detail and it ruined more footage than I care to admit. It only took me a decade to figure it out, but hey, they say the first 10,000 shots are your worst. It took a couple days to get into a rhythm, switching between shooting video and snapping candid street shots of the Disney park crowds. The record cold didn't make things any easier, but it did add a unique vibe. Early on, I found myself drawn to capturing how people were dealing with the chill, bundled up, shivering, but still doing their best to soak in the Disney magic. Day 2 brought a bit of sunshine, but it was still freezing out, about 33 degrees when we left in the morning. Not exactly the best weather to get motivated to shoot, but I still brought out my vintage 1977 Nikon 24mm. It's one of my favorite lenses, small, light, and perfect for a full day of walking around EPCOT. On my Sony a6500, it comes out to about 36mm focal length, which feels great for street and documentary style shots. It's super sharp, easy to focus, and honestly, it's becoming my go-to for everyday shooting. On an APS-C camera like my 6500, this lens hits the sweet spot. It gives a natural field of view that's almost exactly what your eyes see. It's wide enough to capture the full atmosphere and context around your subject, which is perfect for places like Disney World. You get your family or main subject surrounded by all that color and detail without losing a sense of where you are. I'm always surprised at how big the crowds are here. We thought coming in early February would mean smaller lines and open spaces, but nope. Disney is always packed. Shooting in heavy crowds is tough. It forces you to slow down, really look for clean frames, and think about the composition. I've learned that it's less about waiting for an empty shot and more about using the crowd, finding those small stories and moments hidden in all the chaos. Midway through the trip, I decided to switch things up and change lenses. I pulled out my KamLan 21mm f1.8, another fully manual lens that's great for zone focusing when stopped down to around f8. Early that morning, I took out for a spin around Disney's old Key West resort, capturing some quiet moments before the parks came alive. After a few days in the parks, it finally started to warm up and really feel like Florida. We've been through each of the parks now, and I started to realize I hadn't been pushing myself to capture those genuine, candid moments. Street photography isn't easy. It takes real courage to point your camera at people, even in a place like Disney where everyone's snapping photos. Over the next few days, I want to step out of my comfort zone and focus on capturing those unposed, emotional moments that truly show the spirit of Disney. As the trip comes to an end, I'm reminded why I keep bringing my camera to Disney. It's never just about getting the perfect shot. It's about slowing down, noticing the little things, and capturing the moments that make our family story what it is. Every year is a little different. The kids grow up, the parks change, and I find myself seeing it all through a new lens, sometimes literally. This time I challenged myself to shoot only with a couple of vintage manual lenses, and honestly, I love the experience. There's something special about the slower, more intentional way of shooting. I came away with a few photos I'm proud of, but more than that, I came away feeling inspired to keep learning and experimenting. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and helping me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And if you're a fan of the Nikon 24mm or any other vintage lens, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share your favorites or any tips on improving manual lens photography. Thanks again for being here, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers.